you think you Aboriginal when you look just like an African? Call them out for a debate. Pick the video and then I laugh at them. Many niggas ain't even know shit. I kept trying to get this nigga to share my screen, he wouldn't even show this shit. Then they keep trying to play the straw man like they ain't noticing. But he out here blind as hell, he talking about his eyes open. He think he really doing something, whole time I ain't even going. I told him come on and show that screen, the apple you pump fake. Call him Chimpy, he don't even pop out, cheap holiday in. Act like he started something, but he can't even defend. After Apple's looking at you like shit, what you on? How you gon' let Cosmo and Lucky take the ski crossbows? He say fuck the Apple doctrine, man, he can't stand up. He say fuck that Lucas shit, my nigga, he said that. Then you better quit lying on granny nigga shit, tell you that shit. How you got open smoke panel when you known for ducking phase? How you think you Aboriginal when you look just like an African? Call them out for a debate. Pick the video and then I laugh at them. Many niggas ain't even know shit. I kept trying to get this nigga to share my screen, he wouldn't even show this shit. Then they keep trying to play the straw man like they ain't noticing. But he out here blind as hell, he talking about his eyes open. He think he really doing something, whole time I ain't even going. I told him come on and show that screen, the apple you pump fake. I told him come on and show that screen, the apple you pump fake. How you got open smoke panel when you known for ducking phase?
You must try me.
There was a virus that made him smarter, and it almost killed all of us.
Culture freedom. Culture freedom. I just met these ladies out here in the park randomly. How many of y'all ever heard y'all had Indian in your family?
Absolutely.
Everybody heard that before, right? Where did you hear it from? Who was the person that told you?
Our grandmother.
Once again, thank you very much, lady. I appreciate it.
All right.
Grandma said I'm not an African. Grandma said I'm an Indian. Grandma said I'm not an African. Grandma said I'm an Indian. Grandma said I'm not an African. Grandma said I'm an Indian. Grandma said I'm not an African. Grandma said I'm an Indian. Hey yo, these apples think they it, but they not. Every time I look around, they be on TikTok. Every time I look around, they saying something pseudo, knowing it's a lie, acting like it's really true though. Harriet Tubman's real, Nat Turner is a hero. I'ma keep it a buck. Dan Calloway's a weirdo. I'ma keep it a buck. Carimio is too. The research lie, he could never tell the truth. That coward A1, he's a miss no more. Just give me a shot, I can miss no more. Just give me the rock, it's a must. I score. These apples need to see a doctor, it's for sure. Hey, Grandma said I'm not an African. Grandma said I'm an Indian. Grandma said I'm not an African. Grandma said I'm an Indian. Grandma said I'm not an African. Grandma said I'm an Indian. Grandma said I'm not an African. Grandma said I'm an Indian. Grandma said I'm not an African. Grandma said I'm an Indian. Grandma said I'm not an African. Grandma said I'm an Indian. Hey yo, these apples think they real, but they fake. Always on YouTube, we can never get a break. All they do is cherry pick, die at their own sources. Pick the copper color, but not the hair of the horses. And DNA is not real, it's only for entertainment purposes. Can't believe how many times I heard this shit. Can't believe how many times I heard the same shit. Asking for the slave ships. Grandma said I'm not an African. Grandma said I'm an Indian. Grandma said I'm not an African. Grandma said I'm an Indian. Grandma said I'm not an African. Grandma said I'm an Indian. Grandma said I'm not an African. Grandma said I'm an Indian. Grandma said, how many times Grandma said we got Indian in us? It's a legend. It's a family legend. Grandma said we had Indian in us. Grandma ain't say we was Indian though. Stop taking Grandma out of context, man. Stop lying on Granny, man. Cause Grandma ain't say shit, man. You said it, man. You said it, man. Stop lying on Grandma. Grandma said
I'm a therapist who goes to therapy, and some people think that's strange. The thing is, though, therapists are human beings.
And thank you all so much for joining us here today. We actually are in the beautiful West African country of Senegal in the capital city of Dakar. We're joined here with my beautiful wife, Kimberly. And guess what? Get ready for this. Get ready for this. Her distant cousin, Musa. He's actually a native Senegalese with a long line of family members on both his mother and father's side. So that means that my beautiful wife, Kimberly, has roots here in Senegal. I think that's a beautiful thing. And we're going to actually let Musa say a few words regarding his heritage.
Wax wolof.
ok waaw kontaan naa trop gis naa ko ma xol set na daal vraiment kontaan naa daal am naa mbégte gis naa sama cousin kontaan naa ok.
Thank you so much, Musa. And again, as you all know, Musa does not speak English or French. He speaks his native tongue of Wolof. But we just wanted to show you this rare footage because this is a beautiful thing when an African American family member reunites. It's been 200 probably plus years with a native African that has never left these shores of the Atlantic Ocean. It's a beautiful thing. We hope this video has inspired everyone that's watching, and we hope that it gets out to many because it's really about motivating others to take those tests and to know that they can be encouraged in finding their native African cousins. Thank you for joining in. Thank you. All right. We want to thank everybody for tuning in that's watching. My name is Willie Wynn, and I'm here in the beautiful country of Uganda in East Africa. To be specific, we're in the town of Kawanda. Hey, this is a very special video that's dear to my heart because I have reunited with my native African cousins on my father's paternal side. My cousin here, Swabala, was given a test kit and her results came back as positive with the test kit that I purchased from my great aunt Ruth Wynn, who's now deceased. She passed away about a year and a half or so after I provided her with the test kit. So this video is dedicated to my great aunt Ruth Wynn. But look, I want you all to meet my family. This ball of fresh air here, I mean, she is so amazing and so talented. Prosper, can you just introduce yourself to everybody that's watching?
Hello, my name is Prosper. I thank you to see us. Even I want to introduce my two sisters, even my cousin. Thank you.
And would you all like to just briefly introduce yourself to everybody that's watching?
Hello, I'm Swabla, and these are my siblings and my cousin Willie, and I'm really so grateful for the DNA testing, which has helped us to reunite.
Yeah. 5.5 generations away, by the way. That's not that long ago now. 5.5 generations. We're happy. Cousin?
Hi, I'm Patience. I'm glad to see my distant cousin. Thanks.
And I'm happy to see you too. This is awesome. And I want everybody also to see my cousin Stefan. So can you all trade the camera? I want Stefan to come in before we cut this thing. All right. Stefan, if you can introduce yourself to everybody that's watching as well.
My name is Steven. I'm happy because we have been reunited with our cousin Willie because of the DNA test. Thank you.
So, yo, we appreciate you all for tuning in, everybody that's watching. Again, we're here in the East African country of Uganda. This place used to be called the Kingdom of Bakando, and the Europeans in 1894 named it Uganda. Is that the general history of it?
Yes.
All right. So we can look at Uganda as truly the Bakongo Kingdom. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you all. Love you.
Cousin. Now, my Nigerian cousin, right? So we can see this is me cover my face. It's my cousin. We share 9 centimorgans across one segment. He's 96% Nigerian and 4% East Nigerian, East Central. So he's 100% Nigerian, basically. So parts of the conversation with my Nigerian cousin, he says he has more matches to people in the Americas. So this is just me reaching out to him. I asked him where he's from. He said, I'm from the eastern part of Nigeria. and an Igbo by tribe. So nice to meet him. Does he have any other cousins? He says, yes, I have 148 matches here. And I asked him about the Americas. I was wondering if you have matched to other people in America. You see, yes, I have 149 matches here. This is my cousin, like I said, Ajiro. That's a Nigerian surname, 9 centimeters across one segment. So that all that means is that our we probably share the same common ancestor from somebody in the 1700s, because it's that many generations ago that's why our DNA share is so small. So 23andMe connected me to my Igbo tribe. This means some of your ancestors may have lived in it. So this is a quote. This is from this right here. So this means some of your ancestors may have lived in this area, and you may have relatives who still live there. Well, if we go back to my cousin here, they said I might find people from that area who's Igbo. And guess what? They was right. And a lot of people ask about the scientific details, and here they go right here on the Igbo connection. Highly likely match. And again, I have a cousin who is Igbo that I found through DNA. So, to the American Aboriginal community, where is the Aboriginal Americans in history? Oh,
This is very specifically for men over 30 years old.
New to my channel, welcome. This is my very first video in English, and maybe we'll have more, I don't know, but I thought it was important to make a video in English for this, because this is actually about my African American relatives, distant, very distant relatives. So a while ago, I did a DNA test with an American company, and actually, excuse me, let me give you a little summary of my background. I'm sorry. I did not, since you probably haven't watched my videos in French, you have no idea what I'm talking about. So I am from Gabon, which is a small country in Central Africa. It's actually on the western coast, but it's in the central area of Africa. So we say that it's part of the central region of Africa. I'm part of the Fang tribe, which is a tribe that exists in several countries: Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, Cameroon, and Congo. I think that's it. Yeah. There's about, I don't know, I think about 1 million of us. A while ago, like a couple of years ago, I was interested in knowing more about my, I guess, my background. I mean, I kind of knew who I was, but I wanted to make sure, because, you never know, and, there's always family secrets. So yeah, but I was pleasantly surprised because my DNA test came back and I'm 100% African. I'm 99% from the Congo Basin area. So this comprises Cameroon, Congo, and I guess Gabon and Equatorial Guinea. Basically, this is where the Fang people, where they are today. So 99% I'm from there, and 1% I am a, oh, I forgot the term they use. Ancestral African, something like that. So I looked it up, and it's basically very, very ancient African. Sorry. So it's basically the Khoisans of South Africa, but also I had no idea. So they're related to Pygmies. Pygmies are mostly in the central area of Africa. So I'm either 1% Khoisan or 1% Pygmy. I don't know. But being 1% pygmy is actually very interesting because I'm a tall girl, like I'm 5'11". So the reason why I wanted to make this video was because I remember this story that my mom used to tell us. So apparently in my family, there's like a great, I don't know how many greats, how many generations, but a great, like an ancestor. Well, not an ancestor, but a brother of an ancestor. So it's a great, great uncle who just disappeared one day, just vanished from the village and was never seen again. And so everybody in the family kind of agreed. I mean, that's the story we've heard. That's the story we hear today, that he was probably taken to be kidnapped, stolen, to become a slave in the Americas, and so we never heard from him again. But thanks to technology today, It's just amazing. So after, when you get your test results, you get to see who and how many people you're related to, in this country, in the United States. And I was very surprised to see that there's over 700 people I'm related to. Here are my DNA results. So I'm 99% from Cameroon, Congo, Southern Bantu peoples. This is probably, the Funk tribe because, yeah, we're from, see, Gabon, Cameroon, Congo, the small Congo, Congo Brazzaville. And this tiny country here is Equatorial Guinea. So here it is. Now let's go check out my matches. All right, so I'm gonna hide the names. And there you go. I have like hundreds and hundreds of people. It's crazy. It's crazy. So most of them are African American. Some of them are Latinos, and a few are even Asian and white. And I was very surprised. And when you look at their DNA profiles, you see that they have some African ancestry. I guess they just look white or Latino. I mean, because it's probably the majority of their genes, but they do have some African genes. It's just wow. So we see a lot of people. I'm surprised. I'm like, wow. So this person, if indeed it's him, if this person was taken from my family, had a lot of descendants, and who knows, maybe there was more than one person who was taken. I don't know. Anyway, this is the one story that I know. So I thought I'd share it with you. So here goes. A lot of people. Wow. And it's like between fifth and eighth, I think, cousin, something like that. And so I guess it's between, well, it's a lot of generations, so it's like at least we must have shared a great, 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 great grandparents, something like that. And it's just amazing, And so I try to calculate what it meant, and it probably means that this great, 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 great uncle was taken probably in the first third of the 19th century, something like that. So yeah, I thought it was interesting to just talk about this and to talk about how, as an African, I was aware of slavery. Of course, we all are. We have all read about it. We've all watched movies about it. But how, as an African, I was aware of slavery. Of course, we all are. We have all read about it. We've all watched movies about it. But it just feels so distant, And of course, I have a lot of compassion for the people who were taken, the people who now descend from those people who were taken. Like, we come from the same people. We don't really know each other, and it's just so sad. It's just so sad. But now, having taken this test and having seen that I'm related to all those people, it's just very wow. It's an eye opener. I mean, I'm shocked. Well, not really shocked. I mean, it's not really that surprising, but it's just it's sad. I'm sad. I'm sad for him. I'm sad for the great 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 uncle who was kidnapped and who never saw his family again. I don't even know what to say. I mean, yeah. I'm sad that I'm really sad that this happened, and I don't know. I guess my story is just about how we may think we're all different, because we come from different places, but really we all know we have common ancestors, and so maybe we should just try to work on our differences and just try to get acquainted more, get to know each other more, because we all are from the same family. Anyway, that's all I wanted to share. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Mic check, mic check. How I sound? Peace to everybody in the building. Peace, peace. Mic check, mic check. How I sound, y'all? Am I good? Somebody tell me something. All right, thank you. Good looking, Ava. All right, so we here.
You see the question of the day. Is Albert Perry A00 lineage from America? So, you know, this is one of Abo's talking points, right? That I mean, it's clear in all the reading that you do about Albert Perry. Smoke singer, you a clown. All the reading you do about. Oh, my bad. Hold on, let me stop. Once again, Tunde, shout out for the super chat. Definitely appreciate you. You definitely support. Appreciate that. Shout out to Q Black for the super chat. He said these apples have nothing like this to prove their claims. No, they don't. They have nothing that backs anything. It's just at least the Christians, they got a Bible. The apples don't have that. They just got a bunch of YouTube videos with no sources. Right? But shout out to everybody. Peace to the chat. Share, like the video. Send this to your favorite abo. But let's get to it. We're talking about Albert Perry. And the Abos, they like to say that Albert Perry's lineage is from America because he happened to live in South Carolina. Or they say he was born in America also. But that's not true at all. So we're going to attack some of their talking points and just go over some stuff. Some stuff you probably seen. I got something I think a lot of people might not have seen. I know the Abos haven't seen, but let's get into it. So
in a particular location, like A00, for instance, they have not found any form of A00 in Africa amongst the bones, amongst the people, in archaeology, nothing. They haven't found A00 in Africa, but they have labeled A00 to come out of Africa. So when they find the genetic haplogroups that are closest to A00 outside of Africa, they say they still are out of Africa because we say it's out of Africa. So that's where the problem really lies when you're basing it based on haplogroups that they're giving, maps that they're giving, when they're not actually giving accurate depictions of the migration patterns. And really, we can't even dive into having accurate depiction of the migration patterns until we utilize DNA in the way that it's meant to, meaning as a genealogy test.
So I wanted to let her get it all out. But you hear her say that they haven't got it from any bones and things like that. Let's say it again.
They have not found any form of A00 in Africa amongst the bones, amongst the people. A00 in Africa amongst the bones, amongst the.
Said amongst the bones, amongst the people. So we understand that Naya, she likes to freestyle, right? She likes to repeat things that she hears from other people, but they really just don't know. So this is a paper, you can get it. I'll put the link in the description, right? Ancient West African forages in context of African population history. All right, this came out in 2020. I said the link is in the description. Let's just go down to the abstract real quick. Mind you, she said, hasn't been found in the bones. It said, we generated genome-wide DNA data from 4 children buried roughly 8,000 and 3,000 years ago. Here you go, hardline boss. At Shumlanka, Cameroon, one of the earliest archaeological sites within the probable homeland of the Bantu languages. One individual carried a deeply divergent Y chromosome haplogroup A00, which is found today almost exclusively in the same region. However, all 4 individuals' genome-wide ancestry profiles are most similar to West Central African hunter-gatherers, implying that the present-day population in Western Cameroon, as well as Bantu speakers across the continent, are not descended substantially from the population represented by these 4 people. We infer an African-wide phylogeny that features widespread admixture and 3 prominent radiations, including one giving rise to at least 4 major lineages deep in the history of modern humans. So again, they found 8,000 and 3,000 year old bodies of 4 children, and one of the children was carrying the A00. So we heard her say that they haven't found it in the bones. So we have scientific papers
Found
saying
any
otherwise.
form of A00 in Africa amongst the bones, amongst any form of A00 in Africa amongst the bones.
So we see right away that she doesn't know what she's talking about. Let's go to the next one. I ain't gonna hold y'all long. We're gonna do this quick, get in and out. Right. So the next point we got Ali. Right. And he acts like he's the Albert Perry specialist. Hardline boys, chill out. You're gonna see a lot more. This is just the beginning. Trust me, this is just the beginning. Right. I just gotta show some examples of the claims, and you can get right to it. Oh shit, my bad. Give me 1 second, y'all. 1 second. 1 second. Not yet. Not yet. Hold on. All right, let's go to. I can't do both at the same time. Let's go back to Ali Muhammad. So let's just listen to his claim for a minute.
So anyway, let's share the screen. You asked to see the family line in the United States of America that has the oldest DNA. Now, this is Albert Perry, right? Where was he born? In Florida. And he was born in Florida in 1816. But the problem with that is Florida was Indian country at the time. And so this is his name. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with Albert Perry. If you're not, you need to go look it up. This is a part of his family line and one of his grandsons. So let's go and we can find these people. All right. John Clyde. This is him on the census. Albert Perry right here. All right. 1880 census. He was never listed as a slave, like Jabari tried to say. Let's get it up close.
So they love saying that, right? So slavery is ended at 1880. You don't see Albert Perry pop up on any records until 1870, which is gonna only mean one thing: he was enslaved in America. That's why they have no records of him. But guess what? We can't talk to Albert Perry. But we do know what his family say, and I'm going to show you what his family says about that in a little bit. But these guys, they keep trying to just hijack the history, making up their own things, come up with their own conclusions. Especially this guy Ali, he's one of the best at it, and he doesn't have anything to support it. He's showing an 1880 census saying, or 1870 census say, look, he wasn't a slave. Well, slavery was over at that time, buddy. Nice try.
Albert Perry and his family. You see Clyde right there, Clyde. Clyde was just right here. That's Clyde Perry, right? They all were from Florida and South Carolina. Now let's do a cross.
Now he just showed Clyde Perry. So how the story of Albert Perry is, the descendants of Albert Perry through Clyde Perry did a DNA test. His family was a member of his family who was in the genealogy, and she's the one that put everything together. But again, he's going to show this graph. Let's just hear what he says about this.
Cross comparison between the S&Ps for Perry's family and the Africans. Here it is right in your face, bro. They don't have the same haplogroup, bro. Go find.
So again, that's not true. Let's go to the paper he got that screenshot from, right? So also the link for this paper is in the description. This paper, now mind you, The screenshot he got that from is from this paper that's titled Rare African Y-DNA Haplogroup A00 Sprouts New Branches. This is where he got this screenshot from. It comes from that paper. So already, you're doing bad, Ali. I showed this the other night, but we was going over some other stuff. I wanted to focus on Albert Perry tonight. So this is the screenshot. This is the screenshot from the paper that's titled African Haplogroup. Right? And it's not saying anything that he's saying. It's actually showing the descendancy, how these things all line up. Right? Now, this is something he didn't want to show you, how they actually have it lined up. They have Albert Perry here. Well, Albert Perry's grandson, the one that took the test, because Albert Perry never took the test. Two of his, one of his great grandson and a great great grandson and a great 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 grandson took the test. And you see how we get A00 here, and it comes off. Mind you, have a somebody who they found was older. That the ancient individual from Sri Lanka, that's one of those 8,000 or 3,000-year-old bodies. They tested for A00 that was older than Albert Perry. So this is how it comes off. It comes off a Y haplogroup. Well, the hypothetical Y atom. You got the AL1090 that splits. That becomes a Khoisan, and the rest of the people that leave Africa and go and populate the world. Then you have that ancient individual from the paper I showed you earlier with the A00 group. This is where they mark the A00. So this one's a little bit older. And then off of this, you have the Cameroon, who has an older mutation. Another man from Cameroon has an older mutation. Then you have the great grandsons of Albert Perry. But he didn't want to show you that. Oh, shit, I'm not even showing. So, yeah, as you can see, my bad, I wasn't showing it. As you can see, the grandsons of Albert Perry, they come off that Cameroon line. There's no denying it. But when you get somebody like Ali who just shows you screenshots from papers, right? This is the screenshot, and they're telling you that. We can just read what it says, because so few men have tested and fallen into the line of this line, the dark blue equivalent SNPs reach far back in time. As more men test, this will eventually be broken into individual branches. The men who carry these important SNPs or SNPs and their branching information will either be men from Africa or the diaspora. I would like to thank the Perry family for continuing the contributions to science. So speaking of that, let's go to the Albert Perry family. All right, this is from, let me say, fair use. Right, this is for entertainment purposes only. Well, teaching purposes only. Sorry. Right, fair use. Let me get my fair use banner. Right, we over here combating disinformation. So let's go to the Albert Perry family.
The story has just gotten more intriguing thanks to amateur genealogist Jacqueline Johnson.
So this is Jacqueline Johnson. This is the geneticist, the family geneticist of that Albert Perry line, and the reason we even know about Albert Perry today. You never hear the Abos talk about it because they don't know about it. Right? This is an old documentary. I forget what year it came out, but I had seen this a while ago, and I've been trying to figure out a way to get it to you because you can't. It's on PBS on Prime, so you can't screen share. It'll just go black. Right? So I was finally able to screen record it. I wanted to share it with y'all. So This is Jacqueline Johnson, Albert Perry's descendant. Let's hear what the family says.
She's fascinated by her great-great-grandfather, Albert Perry, who appears on the 1870 census as a freed slave in South Carolina.
He's 43 listed on here, so that means he was born about 1827. And there's my great-grandfather, Clyde, at the age of 3, a toddler. This is the first major census that slaves were included on, with the last names.
So she has no problem calling him an ex-slave. So why are people lying about this? This is the family genealogist. Yeah, I don't know nothing about his family.
To that, it was mostly recognized as somebody's property.
Johnson has been able to trace her roots back 5 generations, but she can't find any records before 1870.
This is our family tree. This is myself, my mother, my grandmother, and this is...
So you see, she's done the genealogy. We're not going to play around, right? Just like y'all be out here fronting like y'all, even though we prove y'all time and time again, y'all don't do genealogy. She's done it. Stop crying about it.
My great-great-grandfather, Albert Perry. It's frustrating that you can't go back any further than him because, people just didn't pop up and start existing in 1870. They were alive before.
You hear that? So, Abos, all them deadlines y'all have that stop at 1870. Let's stop playing like you can't imply that those persons or those people that you can't find out about, because I know you got a lot of them. Because you only talk about that one line that leads to a white man in the 1500s. Those people were enslaved. That's why you can't find them before that. It's called a brick wall for a reason.
And so where were they? They were somewhere. I want to give a voice to this story. I want to find out, who is Albert Perry?
I've enlisted the help of 3 scientists who use genetic ancestry tracing in their research.
In 2006, I was watching a PBS special called African American Lives, and they were presenting DNA.
We submitted second DNA samples. These samples can then be compared to DNA samples taken from around the world.
They were showing people, okay, you were connected to this group of people in Liberia and this group of people in Nigeria. And I was like, oh, that's a way I can do it. I can actually test my own DNA and find out where we connect in Africa.
So Jacqueline Johnson, Albert Perry's great-great-great-granddaughter, she's doing all this, right? So y'all gonna tell her she's wrong, right? All the work she put into her genealogy, and when she couldn't go any further, she turned to DNA, and this is what we get: a groundbreaking history, right? Straight out of Africa. So we don't even have to play these games no more, right? Stop saying it unless you got proof. We don't want to deal with y'all feelings unless you got proof. Stop saying that Albert Perry wasn't enslaved. Stop saying that he wasn't from Africa.
To track Albert Perry's lineage, she persuaded a male cousin to provide a sample of his Y chromosome. It was tested here at Family Tree DNA. Bennett Greenspan runs the company.
When I came into work the morning that the sample had been scored the night before, the technicians were actually very excited because they said, we've seen something and we've never seen anything.
So now we know who actually sequenced the DNA. This is the lab at Family Tree. You see the guy that's head of it, right? We don't have to play all these mysterious conspiracy games. These guys have no reason to do this. To act like it has to be from Africa. It would if they found it was from America, it would make them even more famous. I don't think y'all understand the type of shit that y'all are trying to debunk, right? Scientists want to find things like that. It's just not true.
Thing like this before. Typically, you might find 1 or 2 or 3 novel mutations, but in this sample, we found between 40 and 50 novel mutations.
40 to 50 novel mutations. So those are new mutations they've never seen before. They never seen before.
Which means it defines an entirely new subsection of the tree of mankind.
The Y chromosome from Jacqueline Johnson's cousin was so unusual, it was given its own name, A00. Geneticists checked thousands of other samples in their data sets, but found no one else with the same signal. Until they looked in Western Africa.
So you heard what he said. Geneticists, they looked all through their data set. So if they don't have the DNA in their database, then they can only compare to what they're comparing it to. But they turn to Africa.
The trail leads 7,000 miles from Houston to Mbeta village in western Cameroon. In 2001, there was a program to sample DNA here. When the samples were reviewed in 2000.
So y'all heard it. In 2001, they did some DNA sampling here. In 2001.
When the samples were reviewed in 2012,
they was not reviewed for 11 years. So they keep saying, "Oh, they didn't why did they just all magically find it or how, they didn't have the DNA before they found it with Albert Perry." No, they did. They collected the DNA. They've been to Cameroon. They collected it in 2001, 23 years ago. Facts, Ava. But the research and the money probably isn't there, and that's not a priority. They collected it, they got it until somebody else picks up the research or the research gets funded more and things like that. I actually found one of the donation pages for the guy that's about to show that that is doing the research. He's from Cameroon.
11 of the men were a match for A00.
11 of the men. So far we got 3,000, between 3,000 and 8,000 children who have A00 in Cameroon. Then they go to this village. They had samples from 2011. From 2001, excuse me. That when they ended up testing them in 2012, they found the A00 thing in there. So what do? They go back.
11 of the men were a match for A00. No one knows who they are because the tests were anonymous. But they're the only other people in the world known to have the same Y chromosome as Jacqueline Johnson's great-great-grandfather, Albert Perry. He must have lived as Jacqueline Johnson's great-great-are because the tests were anonymous. But they're 0. No one knows who they are because the tests were anonymous. But they're the only other people in the world known to have the same Y chromosome as Jacqueline Johnson's great-great-grandfather, Albert Perry.
So out of all the millions and millions of DNA tests, they're the only ones in the world to come up with it. Black Americans take them all the time, other people all around the world, and they only found it here.
He must have lived in Mbeta before being transported as a slave to the United States, carrying with him the A00Y chromosome. What's so remarkable about this chromosome is its age. By counting the number of mutations, it's been dated at 338,000 years old, which means it entered the modern human gene pool before modern humans were even thought to exist.
This sample was kind of history shattering. It was older than anything that science had ever seen in a male inherited Y chromosome.
So for the people who got hearing comprehensions, they took the samples in 2001. It wasn't sequenced, or they wasn't sequenced till 2012. That's why. So again, so they found this ancient haplogroup. They start doing more studies. They find it in Cameroon in ancient individuals. They find it in living individuals, but not in the people who are denying it's from Africa. Those people, they're not finding A00. None of the abos is coming up with A00.
And that's what made this discovery so interesting, because this made mankind actually much older than what the scientists had been theorizing for years.
Until recently, the timeline of our species seemed clear. Every man on Earth could trace his ancestry back to genetic Adam. Every woman back to genetic Eve. The earliest fossil evidence goes back 195,000 years to Homo 1. $300,000 years ago lived a forerunner of our species in Jebel Irhoud. But this Y chromosome was older than all of them. A piece of modern human DNA that was 338,000 years old. Potentially a new start date for our species.
When the results came, I was excited. Now his name is in the book. Can you imagine?
His family is happy with the result. You heard her, she's excited. Now her ancestor is in the books. Right? Made him famous. She's excited about it.
When the results came, I was excited. Now his name is in the book. Can you imagine, from a slave, unknown, kind of like somebody's property, and all of a sudden it's known around the world.
You hear the pride. Abo, stop trying to just make up your own history, man. Let's not do that.
To understand more about the A00Y chromosome, geneticists need more samples. Matthew Fomina Forca is the local researcher who did the initial sampling in Mbeta village.
He took the initial samples in 2001. Now he's going back.
I've come here because this is the Nkombo community where I collected DNA samples 12 years ago. The sample were analyzed and realized that this population has the 11 samples who belong to the A00, implying that those A00 which were found here have contributed to the beginning of humanity.
So you hear what he said. The scientist from Cameroon said these people here have contributed to the beginning of humanity. Coming out of where? Cameroon.
Those A00 which are found here have contributed to the beginning of humanity.
So we can stop saying, oh, white people say it. Nah, the Africans say it too. Y'all say the Africans don't say this. The Africans say that.
Today, we are continuing the DNA collection that has started in 2001. I am going to swab their mouth with a sterile cotton.
Unfortunately, the climate of Cameroon is too wet to preserve ancient human fossils. So DNA is the only way to find out if our species really did emerge here. But there is another possibility. Another reason for the age of the A00Y chromosome.
Now, Abos, pay attention now. You might not like this. You might not like this part. But you want to claim the A00, you can't claim half the science. You gotta claim it all.
Perhaps we inherited it from a different species of human. Although we are now the only humans on the planet, it was not always this way. For tens of thousands of years, the forests of Africa would have been shared between modern humans and archaic humans. It's been assumed there was little, if any, contact between them. But what if that assumption is wrong? What if DNA passed from one species of human to another?
There may have been archaic forms of humans that lived in Western Africa that happened upon modern populations. And this Y chromosome was introduced into the modern population through interbreeding.
Although modern humans were a distinct species, they seem to have mated with other, older species of human and picked up parts of their DNA.
That would help to explain why we found a 338,000-year-old Y chromosome in a very small pocket of humanity in Western Cameroon. For the last 100 years or so, it's been very convenient to think that humans originated in a very simple way in a Garden of Eden. But now we know from the DNA itself that matings between different forms, archaic forms, modern forms, have been going on. Who knows how long that's going back in time, which in fact makes us a lot more like the rest of nature.
Something similar.
So we see what the science says, right? So when we hear them make claims like this,
A00, for instance, they have not found any form of A00 in Africa amongst the bones, amongst the people, in archaeology, nothing. They have.
we know she's just making that up. She's flat out making it up, right? And then when Ali comes on and says that it has nothing to do with Africa and he wasn't a slave, we know he's making that up. It's just that simple.
He was never listed as a slave, like Jabari tried to say.
No, Jabari doesn't say it. His great great granddaughter says it. His family genealogist says it. Jacqueline Johnson says it. She has a name. Jabari doesn't say it. He doesn't. We got that from his family. So we know they're lying. Remember what they always like. The Apples love to say, "Family knows best," right? Family knows. So what's wrong with Albert Perry's family? What's wrong with Jacqueline Johnson? She did the work. She put the work in.
Let's get it up close. Albert Perry and his family. You see Clyde right there, Clyde. Clyde was just right here. That's Clyde Perry, right? They all were from Florida and South Carolina. Now let's do a cross comparison between the S&Ps for Perry's family.
And this goes right with that sleight of hand scholarship. He shows y'all this graph, and I already showed you where the article it comes from. It comes from right here, where they're indeed talking about this thing comes from Africa. That's all they're talking about in this whole article. They even have this graph right here for you, which shows you the testing that they did in Cameroon, right? The ancient individuals that they found. And then you see Albert Perry's grandsons down here coming off of these lines. Right? There's gonna be mutations. This thing is 300 something thousand years old. Right? But it's just about understanding the science and understanding that Ali tried to trick y'all by showing this. This is the same chart. Like, it's just that simple. They don't have a leg to stand on. That's why they make stuff up. Well, I'm gonna open the panel for a little bit. I ain't gonna stay with too long. But pull up. We've been in here for almost an hour. We don't got to do it forever. I think I did my job. Right? Albert Perry's A00 line. It comes from an archaic human. Modern humans wasn't just modern humans around at that time. Right? But Abels ain't gonna respond to this. They're not gonna have any evidence to produce anything. Like I said, I brought you his family. Right? His family genealogist said he's enslaved. So who are y'all to say he's not? Abel stopped saying he wasn't. Right? That's a dark part of our history, but we take the good with the bad. We're proud. We're proud people, right? We take the good with the bad. We understand with slavery it comes that fight. And we fought to get out of it. I did presentations on how we freed ourselves. Right? You can go check out that. We freed ourselves. So this ain't no pity party, but when it comes to this DNA, when it comes to science, we know where Albert Perry fits. There's no conspiracy to try to steal it from America. A scientist would love to come along and have proof. You know what I'm saying? He made a discovery. So let me see. What, nobody want to pull up? That's how y'all doing? That's how y'all doing tonight? Let me take a little intermission. Take a little intermission. Y'all don't want to pull up on me. That's all right. We can make this nice and short. I'll be right back.
Freedom, culture freedom. I just met these ladies out here.
My bad, y'all. My bad.
In the park randomly. How many of y'all ever heard y'all had Indian in your family?
Absolutely.
Everybody heard that before, right? Where did you hear it from? Who was the person I told you?
Our grandmother.
Once again, thank you very much, lady. I appreciate it.
All right.
Grandma said, I'm not an African. Grandma said, I'm an Indian. Grandma said, I'm not an African. Grandma said, I'm an Indian. Grandma said, I'm not an African. Grandma said, I'm an Indian. Grandma said, I'm not an African. Grandma said, I'm an Indian. Hey yo, these apples think they ick, but they not. Every time I look around, they be on TikTok. Every time I look around, they saying something pseudo. Knowing it's a lie, acting like it's really true though. Harriet Tubman's real, Nat Turner is a hero. I'ma keep it a buck, Dan Calloway's a weirdo. I'ma keep it a buck, Carinio is too. The research lie, he could never tell the truth. That coward A1, he's a miss no more. Just give me a shot, I can miss no more. Just give me the rock, it's a must, I score. These apples need to see a doctor, it's for sure. Hey, Grandma said, I'm not an African. Grandma said, I'm an Indian.
Okay, King Kapala, what's good, bro? What's
A lot of
going on with you?
coincidence. Man, peace out, move. What's happening, man? What's going on, man?
Peace, bro. Same old shit, you know. Just gotta beat up this Abo misinformation. You know how it go.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just hold them up against the wall. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put the brass knuckles on and gut them out at the ribs, man.
Bro, they done, man. They can't claim Albert Perry no more. That's just it.
Nah, they tripping with the Albert Perry joint. Yeah, they didn't even read the whole thing, didn't understand it. It was a goopy in the chat asked me to look it up to some find something that was before this one to some find some DNA something before Albert Perry. Man, when you read and when you look it up, you read all that stuff. It was so many of them I could have pulled just the link from. I only picked one. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the best one, but it still smashed the crap that this dude talking and the rest of them clowns was talking about still. It's like why y'all didn't even read all this stuff? Y'all saying this shit and didn't even read none of the shit, none of the source. You know what I'm
Nah.
saying? Just straight say a whole bunch of crazy stuff without reading it. And
They listen to people like Ali and Top Cats, and whatever they say, they just repeat it. And
that's crazy.
That's all they do.
Yeah, that was all I wanted to come
Yeah,
up
yo,
here.
salute Public Enemy. Appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. But yeah, these
Yeah,
apples, man, they're crazy.
yeah,
What you said? Go ahead.
You gonna do a short joint or what?
Yeah. I ain't gonna be in too long, man. I just
Oh,
had to
I'm gonna
get this
drop back
off.
down. Yeah, but peace though. Yeah, man. Yeah. Keep this rocking for a little bit though. Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Late.
Before you leave, well, hold on. Don't leave yet. I want you to hear this clip from Ali. I think this is the right one.
All right.
Oh shit, that shit ain't available. And they got me. Oh, I can't even play the clip. I never took that video down or something. But it was Ali was asked about his DNA test one time. He said that basically it was mixed and some shit. But now he just be fun. But I can't even play the video, so it don't even matter, man. But yeah, I'm gonna keep this short just so these people could watch that little Albert Perry presentation. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully this shit can get circulated by y'all sharing it and liking the video. Leave a comment also. Yeah, let's get this out of here, man. You wanna King Kapala, you wanna say something before we get up out of here?
Nah. I come back up here next time and really pop when you got when you got time, so right now, I just want everybody to stay cool, calm, collected, stay black, you know what I'm saying? Stay on their necks. You dig?
Yeah, that's a fact, man. We ain't gonna let them go, man. They got more free time than us. You know what I'm saying? Like we be doing shit. They can go live 24 hours a day. I don't know how. Shit, I got shit to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get on here when I get a little free time. Word. Well, we
Yeah,
gonna make
peace
this
out,
shit
man.
happen. Word, but peace though, peace. Peace, everybody out there. Lucky about to take us out. If I'm gonna play both of them. But yeah, Albert Perry, he's from Cameroon. That should be done with. You know, Apple's never rebuttal nothing. They just act like they ain't see it when we know you seen it. We know you seen it. I be getting, 1,000. I get a decent amount of views, and it be Abos watching. Word. But all right, y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all next time. I'm gonna play these 2 songs. We out of here, man. Peace, peace, peace.
Gentle beats. How you think you Aboriginal when you look just like an African? Call them out for a debate. Pick the video and then I laugh at them. Many niggas ain't even know shit. I can try to get this nigga shut my screen, he wouldn't even show this shit. Then they keep trying to play the straw man like I ain't noticed. But he out here blind as hell, he talking about his eyes open. He think he really doing some whole time I ain't even going. I told him come on and show that screen, the Apple, you pump fake. Call him Jimmy, he don't even pop out, Chief Holiday in. Acting like he started something, but he can't even defend. After Apple's looking at you like shit, what you on? I ain't gon' let cost money like he take his decoy moves. He say fuck the Apple doctrine, man, he can't stand up. He say fuck that look of shit, my nigga, he said that. Hey, you better quit lying, no granny nigga shit, tell you that shit. How you got open smoke panel when you known for ducking phase? How you think you Aboriginal when you look just like an African? Call them out for a debate. Pick the video and then I laugh at them. Many niggas ain't even know shit. I kept trying to get this nigga shut my screen, he wouldn't even show this shit. Then they keep trying to play the straw man like I ain't noticed. But he out here blind as hell, he talking about his eyes open. He think he really doing some whole time I ain't even going. I told him come on and show that screen, the Apple, you pump fake.
Culture freedom. Culture freedom. I just met these ladies out here in the park randomly. How many of y'all ever heard y'all had Indian in your family?
Absolutely.
Everybody heard that before, right? Where did you hear it from? Who was the person that told you?
Our grandmother.
Once again, thank you very much, lady. I appreciate it.
All right. Grandma said, I'm not an African. Grandma said, I'm an Indian. Grandma said, I'm not an African. Grandma said, I'm an Indian. Grandma said, I'm not an African. Grandma said, I'm an Indian. Grandma said, I'm not an African. Grandma said, I'm an Indian. Hey yo, these apples think they it, but they not. Every time I look around, they be on TikTok. Every time I look around, they saying something pseudo. Knowing it's a lie, acting like it's really true though. Harriet Tubman's real, Nat Turner is a hero. I'ma keep it a buck, Dan Calloway's a weirdo. I'ma keep it a buck, Caremio is too. The research lie, he could never tell the truth. That coward A1, he's a miss no more. Just give me a shot, I can miss no more. Just give me the rock, it's a must. I score. These apples need to see a doctor, it's for sure. Hey, Grandma said, I'm not an African. Grandma said, I'm an Indian. Grandma said, I'm not an African. Grandma said, I'm an Indian. Grandma said, I'm not an African. Grandma said, I'm an Indian. Grandma said, I'm not an African. Grandma said, I'm an Indian. Grandma said, I'm not an African. Grandma said, I'm an Indian. Grandma said, I'm not an African. Grandma said, I'm an Indian. Hey yo, these apples think they real, but they fake. Always on YouTube, we could never get a break. All they do is cherry pick, die at their own sources. Pick the copper color, but not the hair of the horses. And DNA is not real, it's only for entertainment purposes. Can't believe how many times I heard this shit. Can't believe how many times I heard the same shit. Asking for the slave ships. Grandma said, I'm not an African. Grandma said, I'm an Indian. Grandma said, I'm not an African. Grandma said, I'm an Indian. Grandma said, I'm not an African. Grandma said, I'm an Indian. Grandma said, I'm not an African. Grandma said, I'm an Indian. Grandma said, how many times Grandma said, we got Indian in us? It's a legend. It's a family legend. Grandma said we had Indian in us. Grandma ain't say we was Indian though. Stop taking grandma out of context, man. Stop lying on granny, man. Cause grandma ain't say shit, man. You said it, man. You said it, man. Stop lying on grandma. Grandma said